On this episode of China Uncensored, China uncensors America. Hi, welcome to China Uncensored. I'm your host, Chris Chappell. You know, a lot of you have said things like, "Hey, Chris, stop criticizing China. You should do America Uncensored." Well, guess what? China Central Television has already done it for me. Last month, state-run CCTV broadcast this documentary to millions of households across China.
As they pursue human rights, does the U.S. judge other countries, or are they equal with them? This is the human rights record of the human rights defender.
So, I decided to watch this 45-minute, awkwardly titled documentary. Fortunately, they added English subtitles to the version on their U.S. website. It begins here.
1968年3月16日，越南广义省美莱村。
Now don't worry, not everything they pointed out happened 5 decades ago. But it's true, the US Army did some pretty terrible things in Vietnam. CCTV then goes on to describe a dozen more recent human rights problems America has. For example, police violence.
12岁男孩卡米尔赖斯挥舞玩具枪，酿成悲剧。儿童因枪击死亡的悲剧在美国屡见不鲜。
And privacy violations.
据《华盛顿邮报》网站2015年12月1日报道，美国联邦调查局利用其特权，强迫互联网公司未经法庭批准。
隐私权是一个非常重要的个人权利。
And of course, racism.
2015年5月1日，纽约，上千名示威者走上街头，要求每个少数族裔都要享有公平正义的权利。
After watching all this, I was absolutely outraged because I actually agreed with CCTV. America does have problems, and CCTV is absolutely right to point those out. I was even going to say so in the comments below, but CCTV's comment section seems to be disabled. But my point is, exposing America's problems is healthy. It helps us improve. That's why America's founding fathers wanted a free press. Americans are pointing out America's problems too. For every single problem CCTV talks about, there have already been public protests that the police permitted and the American media covered. In fact, CCTV used American media coverage of those protests in their documentary. Americans have protested everything. The Vietnam War, police brutality, mass surveillance, racism. Because in America, the government and media don't pretend that America doesn't have its own problems. Even elected officials here are free to speak their minds.
I'm Matt Rosendale, and this is how I'd look from a government drone. Spying on our citizens, that's just wrong. I'm Matt Rosendale, and I approve this message.
And so while I agree with CCTV that there really are human rights problems in the US, it's their conclusion that has a major flaw.
对话而非指责，合作而非对抗，这才是促进世界各国人权的正道。
What they're really saying is, don't criticize China until you fix your own problems first. By that logic, during World War II, America should never have helped liberate Nazi concentration camps because America had its own internment camps for the Japanese. Look, if everyone had to be perfect before they could point out other people's issues, what kind of world would we live in? America isn't great because it doesn't have problems. America has lots of problems. America is great because it gives Americans the ability to publicly address those problems. We even have an entire genre of comedy shows that are all doing some version of America Uncensored. So when CCTV asks,
As they pursue human rights, does the U.S. judge other countries, or are they equal with them?
I say no. The US is not equal with China. Not until I can go to China, interview experts there who can speak freely, use footage of Chinese protests broadcast by local Chinese media, criticize Chinese policy however I want, and upload my videos to a China-based website without being harmonized. But until then, I'll just have to keep uncensoring China from the good old US of A. And look, If CCTV wants to upload their propaganda documentary to a US-based website, I say go for it. Just don't disable the comments. Thanks for watching China Uncensored. Don't forget to comment below however you want. Once again, I'm Chris Chappell. See you next time.
Okay, so what do you need?
Suits. Lots of suits.
Wait, who is this?
Mania, official clothing sponsor of China Uncensored. ManiaSuit.com.